Hi everyone, my name is Anita Wallace and I'm Chair of the Lymphedema Support Network. Thank you for joining us for the fifth in our series of Ask the Expert YouTube videos. This time we put your questions to representatives of some of the main manufacturers of compression garments used here in the UK. Now, in order to be completely transparent, all of these companies also support the work of the LSN by being part of our corporate sponsorship scheme, for which we're very grateful. And for fairness, and because those of you listening may use garments from any or all of the companies represented, we ask them all the same questions, and we will share all their answers with you. And this may make it a little bit repetitive, but we've mixed up the order in which they answer. So you will not always have to wait until the end to get the answer from your company representative. And obviously the answers given are the thoughts and opinions of the company in question and do not necessarily reflect the views of the LSN. So in our first question to the experts, we ask, why are garments made out of such a horrible fabric when sports compression is made from silky cooling material? Is this really as good as it's going to get?
So compression garments to manage lymphedema or venous disease may feel a little bit strange to start with. They might not look or feel like something you're familiar with, sports socks or tights or just your everyday socks. But these garments are designed by companies to really try and manage your medical condition as best that they can. So in some instances, if you've got a very mild swelling, you might find the garments look a bit more familiar. They might be quite stretchy and look like a pair of tights, or they might look like sports socks or a pair of men's socks. But as your limb may become a bit more swollen, clinically you might need something that is a bit stiffer to try and stop the limb from swelling. With these stiffer garments, you can sometimes feel that the texture of them is slightly different as well, and they can feel a bit rougher. Now, the companies don't make these garments rough just so that they feel uncomfortable to touch and to make you not want to wear them. That texture to the garment is actually part of the design. Now, if you can think about your lymphatic system, and the lymphatics start very superficially, just below the skin in your hand here, you've got your superficial lymphatics. And just by moving that skin very gently, we're initiating that initial lymphatic drainage. So as the products are designed to be slightly rougher, what this means is as you're walking or moving your Limitol, the skin moves against the fabric, and this causes what we would call a micro massage effect. And this massage effect is what stimulates that initial lymphatic drainage. So don't be put off by garments that maybe don't feel as smooth as you'd like, and they might have a slightly more rougher texture than you're used to. It's there as part of the design to help with that lymphatic drainage, especially your superficial lymphatic drainage.
This is a really great question, and we get asked this a lot because many people feel that we're really limited with our choices of compression fabric. However, there are other fabrics available within our company's range of products, which are not the traditional flat or circular knit fabric, but more of the type that you are mentioning, such as a bit more comparable towards the sports compression therapy. Our Ito range of compression is what can be defined as cut and sew garments. They're silky, smooth, breathable fabric that can look more like a sports garment. They tend to come in a compression that is 25 to 30 millimeters of mercury, so equivalent to a RAL Class 2 garment, and can be made to measure or off the shelf. The limitation of these garments, though, is that they are not available on prescription, so may not be supplied by some clinics. These are much more sophisticated than your sports compression garments in that they are manufactured to fall within the classifications for medical compression, whereas sports garments don't tend to be.
So this is a good question, something that I've been asked quite a lot actually. And in a nutshell, if you want a garment that's got silky cooling material, but it actually offers a medical grade compression, unlike most sports garments, feel free to get in touch, as this is something that we can actually offer. I feel that the question though is directed probably more at a flat knit garment and comparing that to a standard sports compression garment. And that's not a direct comparable. So a flat knit garment is a stiffer material, would have a tendency to feel thicker as well. A flat knit garment would usually be for a patient with skin folds, irregular limb shape. So the garment has a seam, and it means that it's going to mirror that patient's limb shape so that it doesn't dig in with them skin folds. And as I say, it matches the patient's limb shape. If a patient who's wearing a flat knit garment tried to wear a standard sports compression garment, it's most likely they're not going to be able to wear it. It's going to cause irritation. It's going to dig into these areas, and the garment's definitely not going to fit correctly. So one key thing to look at is the purpose of the garment. Now, if the purpose is for an irregular limb shape and it's to match the limb, then a flat knit garment's going to be more suitable. For me, circular knit garments, medical wise, should I say, are the direct comparable to a sports compression garment in most scenarios. The key difference is a circular knit garment, medical wise, has to adhere to certain standards. So it has to be a specific medical compression, i.e. RAL standard class 1, 2, 3, 4, or could be British standard class 1, 2, 3. Because it's got to adhere to certain standards, it can feel slightly different. That's probably going to be one of the key differences. What I would say when you're saying, is this as good as it's going to get? I would say no. I think all companies are continuing to develop, and we, for example, we've actually got a flat knit garment patented design where it doesn't have a seam, so it's going to be seamless. It looks like a circular knit, so it's going to offer that higher working pressure, but it's going to be aesthetically more pleasing than the standard flat knit garments I believe this question was initially referring to.
That's a very interesting question, because we all want to be silk-like and sheer against our skin. But this is because compression fabrics for sport athletes and those for lymphedema have very different jobs to do. The fabric for people suffering with lymphedema must be firm enough to contain that swelling and prevent the rebound of the edema. But at Medi UK, we incorporate something called climate comfort technology into all our fabrics to allow the fabric to breathe. So in the warmer months, when we do get hot weather, you're going to feel nice and cool. Fabrics for sports wearers, on the other hand, don't have the same purpose to contain swelling, but they are there to serve a purpose to improve aerodynamics when the person is running, and increase muscle performance and oxygenation to the tissues. So the two fabrics can't really be compared or contrasted.